So, how's everything going?
It's going pretty well, fourth quarter, but
What do you mean by that? How the kids are a little bit...
yeah, so you could definitely start feeling that we're getting close to the end of the school year.
Yeah, and today with the eclipse, my kids are a little bit nutty.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were playing with those glasses all last period.
Yeah. So, how's everything going this year?
Good.
I mean, I know you kind of decided to move on. Do you know what you're going to do next year?
Yeah, I'm going into cybersecurity.
For sure? Like, are you going to start a job soon?
Probably not going to start until maybe the new year, maybe like January, because there's like not very much hiring that happens, like
Okay.
November, December, for
Okay.
most jobs, because of the holidays and whatnot. So
Well, that's cool.
my plan is to probably start again in January.
Okay. Yeah, that's exciting though. I mean, something new.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think is some of the why did you teaching just really not for you?
I think maybe it was sort of policies that I couldn't control type thing. Like, I felt like some of the ways that maybe I could handle a classroom better or whatnot were kind of taken away from my ability to do that. So following specific guidelines.
Like
and
school-wide thing, district-wide
more
things?
district-wide things, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a weird time. No, like what?
Yeah, like having to give every kid 5 days for every assignment, retakes being a thing that you have to give, makes them take the original assignment a lot less seriously, or the formative, summative split. Well, I don't even know if I don't dislike that much, but I think I could handle that whole thing in my class with just how many points you give things.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's
sure,
always
tests should always be worth more, I think, than assignments, but I think when they have the formative, summative idea in their head, they just don't do it if it's not what they think matters.
Yeah.
Especially just, I obviously teach a lot of the regular classes, so that's magnified.
Yeah, I think a lot of times the policymakers are a little bit, I don't know, disconnected, out of touch of every policy has an outcome. So they think of it as, well, this is a good policy, but policies have outcomes, and that's like sometimes I feel like the minimum F policy, same thing.
Oh yeah, that for sure. But the whole you have to give a retake. I had a kid that completely plagiarized everything, denied it to my face. I showed him where he got it off the internet. He's like, okay, well, I'll get it turned into you tomorrow. And I didn't have any ability to choose to let him do that or not, or coach him on it or anything, because or the minimum F was a huge thing last year. At least it's more manageable this year.
Yeah, it definitely is. Without the zero. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't actually mind how they do it this year. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's an honest attempt. If someone really tries, I'm probably not going to give them a lower than a 50% anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
Who grades them? It's oh, that's a 13%.
No, especially not in social studies, world history. No.
Yeah.
I could see maybe that happening on a math test or something. But.
Yeah. That's true. I always thought, and this is a mistake, I think, I always thought you'd be better with the higher level kids. I wonder sometimes if you had been allowed to teach those students, would you actually stay and teach it?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Because so before you came, I actually fought to get you honors world history, not regular. But they gave it to Jeanette because she has more experience.
I never envied that or got mad at that. I understand
I know,
the decision.
It's just, from my perspective, I was just I know sometimes it's already hard being a new teacher. I think sometimes certain schools, it's almost like a hazing type thing that they want.
Yeah, maybe. And I think just, you obviously know I teach Spanish too, and that's, I think teaching two very different subjects and two subjects that the kids didn't take very seriously was kind of tough in a way.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because I thought, because I was thinking maybe I'll try more advanced classes, but just, I don't know. You guys talk about how tough it is with that right now too, and I just think might not be great timing in a way. Like, I don't know if I would never teach again, but I don't know about right now. I want to try something else, that's all.
Yeah. I would say the difference with the higher level is at least you have a certain percentage of the kids who are there for the right reasons, like want to learn. And that kind of fuels you in a way, like, all right, it's worth it to put in some of the extra work if it makes sense. Like, because then it's not just a job and a paycheck. It's the students who actually care and want to learn. You kind of end up tailoring it around that. But yeah, I mean, I remember teaching Spanish at the beginning. Yeah. I like Spanish.
I do too. Like, I like using it. I like speaking Spanish with kids who need that help, but I don't like teaching it to kids who don't want to learn it.
Don't want to learn it, and no, they don't have to have it to graduate.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that we've turned so many classes into like optional, and then we kind of wonder why students don't take it that seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's tough. So, the class I'm coming to see is World History, right? So where are you at in World History? Like, what's the...
We're about halfway through World War I.
Okay. The topic is
we didn't do, we did a lot of the revolutions and whatnot, and we kind of skipped a lot of the 1800s, and now we're kind of doing just the world wars at the moment.
Okay.
So tomorrow is trench warfare, and it's a stations activity. They're going to read 6 different things about trench warfare, fill out like a graphic organizer.
Okay.
Generally I'll have like a bell ringer too at the beginning of class. It might even be better if you come 15 minutes into class.
Oh, okay.
Because I'll usually have like
a little bit.
It's just, for behavior or whatnot, there's always like a bell ringer on the screen, and it takes them quite a while to read it, so usually the actual class will start about 15 or 20 minutes in.
Okay. I'm gonna write that down. I'll set an alarm. So what are the stations?
Some of them will describe the actual trenches, some of them will describe things like shell shock, trench foot, the conditions. I can't remember all 6 of them right now, but I know there's 6.
What's like the goal of this? Like, what's the overall, we want kids to be able to... Yeah,
so we want them to be able to have a little bit of a deeper understanding of what World War I was like. I had a PowerPoint that we were going through about some of the new things with World War I and the new ways of warfare, new technologies, but the old ways of fighting a war. And they weren't looking at all that, so they're going to look closer at the trenches and how that kind of worked with that. And then they will be writing like a little historical fiction diary entry.
Okay. Nice.
Kind of trying to visualize what it might be like if they were a soldier in World War I.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I've taught that before, like the new technology, old tech, that's why it made it so different. I actually went to, Emmy and Karen and I went to the World War I Museum. It's in Kansas City.
Oh, cool.
So we went back to Kansas for spring break. We went to the National World War I Museums in Kansas City, Missouri, which is kind of weird that it's there.
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting.
That's cool. So what concerns do you have with like finishing out the school year? Is like anything that you need from me to help? Not finishing out the school year, finishing out your brief teaching.
I don't think so. I'm honestly recycling a lot of what I did last year at this point. Like, I might add in like 1 or 2 little things that I just kind of want to teach for fun, but most of it's going to be the same stuff I did last year for the most part.
Oftentimes with regular, I feel like, anything that they're going to be interested in is probably the best. Even though, of course, we have to follow all of the course objectives.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel good about right now being in the World Wars because there's a handful of kids that really like that stuff, so it kind of works out nicely versus some of the earlier stuff that fewer people were interested in.
All right, awesome, sounds good. Can't wait to see it.
Okay, sounds good.